We're standing next to the memorial garden, between the garden and the playground on this side of the building. We've got this whole side of the building has gone up. Paul is here, the architect. Paul, what do we have? We have brick, we have glass. It all looks the same to me. Talk to us.
Sure. So one of the challenges of this project was to try to marry all of these buildings together. You know, we got the sanctuary, which is this kind of beautiful white, mid-century modern form. We've got the amazing chapel, which is its own kind of unique architecture. One of the things we wanted to do was to try to bring all those materials together. If you start over there at the chapel, one of the most beautiful things about that chapel is the cut stone. I mean, that's the original stone from back in, before the 50s even, yeah. It's beautiful. You'll never see stone like that again. So we obviously want to preserve that and make it important. What we wanted to do with the wall behind us was say, what's kind of an updated version of that? If I were to take the stone and use brick with it, it becomes this beautiful textured brick wall that you see behind me. And that was really important that the chapel and the building kind of start to work together. We call it the building and the chapel talk to each other. After that, we know one of the important attributes I probably have said more than 50 times is really it's all about daylight. We were just walking inside the building now. There's not a single light fixture turned on, and it's amazing how bright it is, which is really important in today's kind of spaces to really create that sense of community and bringing people together. Right next to that is this large wall of glass. We call it curtain wall, which means the glass goes from the very bottom of the building to the very top of the building as one continuous piece. That's just going to allow daylight to literally just kind of pour into the building. It really has that ability to really allow daylight to come in. It's going to feel great. It's going to feel warm. It's going to feel inviting. And again, it's a great way to use natural sunlight to light a space, which to me is always just a memorable experience. If you remember, our last piece on the end is Channing Hall. Remember I talked before about the window pattern. You can start to see it on the very end over there. That kind of, those are like the bookends. We got the beautiful pattern of glass on the chapel, the beautiful pattern of glass on the Channing Hall. We've kind of bookend this whole project together. So again, that's how you kind of bring a building together. You try to find ways to make it feel really cohesive and bring all the sites together.
And in terms of materials, we're seeing this darker brown brick. We have another lighter brick.
We do.
And then everybody asks me, what is that going to be? There's going to be like a wood pattern over there.
It is. It's basically a vertical wood siding you're going to see on Channing Hall. Probably within the next couple of weeks here, we'll be able to talk about what that looks like. And that actually ties back to the education building beyond. We talked earlier this idea of making a cohesive campus. We didn't want to introduce materials that are not already on the campus. We want this to feel like one collective campus, one cohesive place to come to. So this project really brings together other building materials so that we really feel like it's part of the family. It's been here for a while, and I think that's important.
And people will ask, what happened to all that nice stone that was taken out when we removed these buildings?
So we are repurposing stone in a couple of different ways. One is we've got a lot of patching work to do on the interior of the building where we took the other building away. So having that extra stone to use was really great because we can use it to patch it and obviously it'll match exactly. Other areas where the existing building came across to the end of the building over here on the end, another area they've got a patching with the existing stone. And lastly, you're going to see it actually on the interior. When you walk into the sanctuary, when this project is done, you're actually going to be walking through some of that existing cut stone. So to me, it's kind of cool to have a little bit of a memory of what used to be there. So I'd say we've repurposed probably 75 to 80% of the existing cut stone that we could say we're reusing, which is a great way to be sustainable, but also it's the memory of this place. We brought it on the inside and we actually brought it to the outside as well.
So let's go look at some of that lighter colored brick.
Sure.
So this is a new light colored brick. Where we are right now is right next to the nursery. I'm looking at the drop-off lane. This is an entry in. The kitchen is behind us with an outside window. What are we looking at?
So a couple of things we're looking at. Over here on this side, I mentioned earlier about where we're having to patch in. We're the building attached to the nursery. Again, having all that beautiful leftover cut stone, we have an opportunity to use it. And then directly behind me is the white brick. So the idea behind the white brick is a couple of things. We really worked hard to actually match the white brick to the sanctuary. You can see it's a pretty darn close match. The other thing we did, if you look at the brick, they're actually stacked on top of each other. We call it a stacked bond. And the reason we did that is we wanted to read very monolithic, which is really what the sanctuary looks like. It's a simple white, beautiful modernist box. We think the white brick, again, is a wonderful tie. And I go again back to that idea. It's important that this feel like a cohesive campus. We don't want to make this feel like it's a foreign object that was dropped here on the soil. So the white brick behind me, you'll see, is going to read very monolithic. It's going to still be brick because it's obviously the right material. But it also has this kind of wonderful visual tie back to the sanctuary.
All right. Thanks, Paul. We're making a lot of progress.
We are.
They're working inside. They're working outside. We're getting there. It's going to be great. We still have some access issues into the sanctuary. That's why we're not worshiping in there. But the project's going great. We really appreciate it. That's building hope for now.